The Seattle Mariners lost their home opener to Cleveland last night. They were a big favorite in that game, and they're going to be a big favorite again tonight. Can Seattle get revenge for last night's loss? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. The bookmakers certainly think so. Seattle will be a minus 165 money line favorite, and the total sits at 7. Cleveland rallied to win game 1 by a score of 6-4. The game was tied 3-3 after 5 innings of play. That was a little bit unfortunate for me because I had a play on Seattle minus a half for the first 5 innings. My mistake. I should not have laid the half a run. Probably should have just laid the juice on the money line. And with that, let's get into some of my philosophy when it comes to betting Major League Baseball. I've had plenty of success betting Major League Baseball in my career, but I do things a little bit differently than a lot of other guys. You'll hear a lot of other guys say, I'm not going to bet on a favorite over 130, 140, 150, whatever the threshold they set for themselves. I don't believe in that. I don't think that makes sense to me. Now, I understand the math. If you pay a bigger price, you have to win at a higher percentage. But the price should be relative to the win probability. And when you have a higher win probability and the higher price doesn't match your perceived win probability, you shouldn't be walking away from a bet like that. That wasn't the case yesterday with the Seattle Mariners. Anyways, let's continue to talk about what happened yesterday in Seattle. The game was tied 3-3 after 5 innings, and the bullpen came in, shut down the Mariners. They gave up just 1 run for the rest of the game. We know that Cleveland's got a good bullpen. They've had a good bullpen for several seasons in a row now. They ranked 3rd in the majors last year in team ERA among relief pitchers with an ERA of 3.44. That will be a strength again this season, most likely. And we're also looking at Gavin Williams will be the starter here tonight. He had a fantastic season for Cleveland last year, 12-5 with a 3.06 ERA and a 1.27 whip. He did face Seattle twice last year. Pretty good numbers, 1-0 with a 2.45 ERA in 2 starts against the Mariners. And how did he fare on the road? Because he'll be on the road tonight. That could be a tough spot. Well, 7-2 with a 3.00 ERA in 16 road starts. He actually had better numbers on the road than he did at home. And this Cleveland team didn't have any trouble winning on the road either. Last year, they were 45-36 at home, 43-38 on the road. I'm not a big Cleveland fan, but I got to give credit where credit's due. They're a gritty team that plays a lot of close games. Their bullpen often keeps them in it. So that's one thing to consider if you're looking at laying the chalk with the Mariners tonight. We're going to talk about the Mariners, but before we do, let me tell you about a promotion we have available for this baseball season, especially in the early going this season. For a limited time over at Picks and Parlays, you can only find this on my page at picksandparlays.net. And for a limited time, we're offering top three baseball handicappers. That's myself. I finished 3rd on WagerTalk last year. I was up 58 units on 61% winners. We did have somebody chime in on WagerTalk today on the live show this week saying 61% winners is no good if you're laying 170. I'd like to clear that up a little later. We'll talk about that some other time. But anyways, the 58 units is always good because that's money in the bank. The other 2 handicappers, we got Ricky Tran, the #1 profit handicapper in units, also hitting over 60% the last 3 seasons. And Pro Sports Picks, another top 3 handicapper last year, also hitting over 60%. You get all 3 of us, 7 days for $79. It doesn't get any better than that. I'm sure you'll do well if you follow all 3 of these top 3 MLB handicappers. But with that, let's get back into the game. Let's talk about those Seattle Mariners. The chalk, minus 165. Is it worth it? Well, Seattle was 90-72. They won the AL West last year, 51-30 at home, one of the best home records in all of baseball. And putting it in perspective, the World Series champion LA Dodgers. You know how many home wins they had last year? 52, one more than the Seattle Mariners. Seattle had a plus 72 run differential. Their bullpen, solid, a top 10 bullpen. They've got a team ERA 3.72 among relievers last year. George Kirby will be the starter. He was 10-8 with a 4.21 ERA and a 1.19 whip last year. He battled some injuries. He only made 23 starts. But I got to say, it was a disappointing season for George Kirby. He started off his career having 3 solid seasons in a row, and it really looked like last year would be the year where you'd expect him to step up and contend to be the team's ace. That just didn't happen for him last year, and perhaps the injuries had something to do with it. We look at his stats this spring, and he was 4-4 with a 3.77 ERA. He gave up 17 hits in 14 1/3 innings, and his whip was 1.53. It's tough to read into that. You never know what kind of pitches he was trying to throw, but it's not telling us that Kirby's on top of his game, but he might be. Against Cleveland last year, he had no decisions, an ERA of 3 in 2 starts versus the Indians, the Guardians, sorry. But the Cleveland lineup is batting .306 over 62 at bats. Small sample size. I'm not reading too much into that either. But at the end of the day, when I look at this matchup, I look at the price for the game. I'm not seeing any evidence that Seattle has a pitching advantage. I know they're at home, but Gavin Williams looks like the better pitcher. And then you have the bullpen. We know Cleveland's got the better bullpen, or at least based on what we saw from Cleveland last year and so far in one game this year, we can estimate that Cleveland has the better bullpen. And we also know that Seattle plays a lot of games decided by 1 run. And it's for that reason that I think the best bet for this game is going to be take Cleveland as the run line underdog on the road. I could see Seattle winning this game by a score of 4-3. I could see Seattle losing this game by a score of 4-3. I think this game will be close, but certainly don't feel comfortable laying the chalk here. We'll take the underdog on the run line. If you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you've got anything to say to me, even if it's nasty, hit me up in the comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can.